Hey everyone, and welcome to Reviews at Ryan, and today on the channel I'm going to be talking about a drama romance film called Empire of Light that is now premiering on VOD and HBO Max. Is this worth your time to check out? Well, stick around and let's talk about it. Empire of Light is a drama about the power of human connection during turbulent times and set in an English coastal town in the early 1980s. The film stars Olivia Colman, Micheal Ward, Colin Firth, Toby Jones, Tom Brooke, Tanya Moodie, Hannah Onslow, Clarke, Monica Dolan, and Ron Cook, and was directed by Sam Mendes, who has done films like Spectra, Skyfall, Revolutionary Road, and 1917. Empire of Light, this is another film that I never watched a trailer for this film. I didn't see a lot of people really cover this film, so I wanted to check it out for myself and just see what I thought about it. So you have Hillary here. She is played by Olivia Colman. She works at an old-timey theater. It's set in the 80s and it's in Kent, England. Now, I don't know if this interpretation of how England is portrayed in this film, if it's really true, as I've never visited England, but I did like the cinematography and I did like how they did the cinema. It really reminded me of an old-timey cinema, and it definitely made me have the feels of when I worked in a cinema. Hillary has been working as a manager at this theater, and we learn that she has bipolar disorder and she takes medication for that, and she's also screwing the boss, and he's married as well. And then this new guy comes in, Stephen, played by Micheal Ward, and she seems to form a really good connection with him. When he comes in, they go up to this abandoned floor and they have a moment together. She really starts to fall in love with this guy. She gets really jealous if he shows any attention to any of the younger girls, and she really starts falling for him. And it's a little bit of an awkward romance, mainly because one night when it's New Year's and they're celebrating and there's fireworks going off, she has an awkward kiss with Stephen, and that's what sparks this supposed romance between the two. The film really relies heavily on racism. For instance, Stephen's character, he is attacked by these skinheads, and he also has an irate customer in which that he calls him racist, and he has to deal with this throughout the film. You also have Hillary here, who is dealing with this depression, and she's off her meds. She's obviously alone, and she's been alone for quite some time, and she has some trouble really establishing herself and maintaining her emotions when she's off this medicine. And the film really takes a toll on what mental illness can really bring to you when you're not taking your medication and what can really happen. And it really studies both characters, their past relationships. It talks about Stephen's relationship and what he has done in his past and how he's doing now. And it really becomes apparent when Hillary doesn't take her medication, when Stephen asks Hillary what her past relationships are like after he's already described what his is, and she goes irate. That can really show the effect of when you don't take your medication, what can really happen, and you just kind of go off the deep end. The film really does go into the subject of reflecting on yourself and things that you may have done, maybe that you could do a little bit differently later in life, or something that you could change. I think it really does reflect on certain feelings, mainly because in this, it really does focus on what Hillary has done and what Stephen has done and what they can really do to better their lives. And I think that's where this big centralized message that Sam Mendes is trying to portray in this film. And it also tackles the subject of having a younger male dating a much older woman and how they are in different aspects of their life and wanting different things, and how that young and older age, it may not always work out, or it could work out for the better. You just kind of never know, and you have to swing for the fences and see what really comes of it. And that's really what I gathered of this film. However, I felt that as this film kind of got into the mid-act and into the third act, it seemed to take a big shift, and it seemed to resolve itself kind of quickly. It presented ideas that I was really on board for, but didn't really solve certain aspects of those ideas presented. Those ideas really make the film feel very messy, and the romance between man and woman here, it gets kind of messy, and it gets into a way of having that first and second act really be about this supposed romance, but then it seems like it fumbles a little bit and it gets into a little bit of deeper portions of certain characters' past that seem to come up again. But it doesn't really need to take that route, in my opinion. And I think because they do throw that in there, those kinds of past things that come back to haunt certain characters, I don't really feel like it was needed. I felt like the story didn't need that extra push because really there isn't a lot that really is really gathered from this certain past that comes back into certain characters of the film. More so, I think, when this film gets into that third act and it's trying to push the boundaries of certain things that it presents, I just don't think it's executed to the fullest. However, when that ending actually happens and when this film actually wraps up, it makes a lot of sense and it really does go into the whole old versus younger person relationship, and it really challenges that relationship. So I think in terms of this film, it's not really a complete really good film, but it does have portions in the film that presents some decent ideas that I don't think are always executed to the fullest. So I think this film is more so a mix for me. I would say that I enjoyed most of this film, but I don't think it's a film that I would actually rewatch. And on that note, I would give a score of this film a 3 out of 5. I think it's a decent film, and I think I liked it more than just being an okay film, and I think it has some ideas that I really liked, and I liked the romance portion. I wouldn't say that I always believed every little aspect of their romance that they shared throughout the film, but I think it was a film that in certain portions it was filmed rather well, and it did have some type of story and narratives, but I don't think the narratives are always that fully executed to the fullest that it could be. So it just seems like more a one-time watch, and I think a streaming option being on HBO Max is perfect for this film. But let me know in the comments, have you watched Empire of Light? If you have not watched this film, is it something that you're going to check out? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys on my next review.